Hey, what's going on, guys? Making a little budget build here. Just got it wrapped up. I just wanted to go over what the sled is, what the upgrades were, what my focuses were. So let's check it out. It's a 23 Matryx 850 Khaos 155 track length. I picked this up November of 23. It was a holdover sled. Got a little bit of a deal on it there. At that point I rode it mostly stock last season with just throwing a cheetah bar setup on it. This is the Boondocker 2.0 bar. I've got 4 1/4 inches of rise here for those curious. This is their new FTP riser. Got the blue to match the sled, of course. During this last season, this is the first year I was on this sled, there are some points I wanted to improve, some upgrades I wanted to make. Big thing being suspension. The Walker Evans on this sled in the stock form are pretty soft, and they kind of collapse and bottom out when you're hitting jumps and riding aggressively. So, you know, your options with improving your suspension come with aftermarket shocks, say Fox or Olin, Zebros, which is going to cost you $3,000 to $5,000. That's a big chunk. That doesn't exactly fit into a budget build. As you can see here on these shocks, they have been set up by Suspension Proz out of Wisconsin. You may have heard of Kyle Saxton. He works with this company and they produced a valving and spring kit. As you can see on these shocks, this is a heavy duty spring, thicker coils, more coils. They are much stiffer than stock and really improve my confidence and just knowing that the sled will be predictable and is able to handle those big hits. This package is $700. You send in your shocks, they revalve them, rebuild them, and put in those heavy duty springs, ship them back to you, and you have a much different feeling shock as compared to stock. I've been riding snowmobiles my whole life. Just last season I started posting more on social media to be involved in my local community, and also I wanted to pick up some ambassadorships to help save some money and support my riding. Suspension Proz was one of the first brands that gave me an ambassadorship opportunity, and so at the end of the video I'll kind of dive into that a little bit more and how that came to be, kind of give you guys some tips if that's something you're after. This bumper here stands out, and that's kind of the point. That stock bumper, I had kissed a tree last season and just barely tweaked it, but there was no fixing it, and I wanted something a little bit better than stock. Looking around at different options, I went with BSB Fab, also out of Wisconsin. 100% handmade, made in America, fully TIG welded, all aluminum, high quality powder coat. And their price point is one of the best for out of all the options out there. And I actually did end up getting an ambassadorship with BSB Fab, and that came after I was originally a customer. So we've got the front bumper here in that matching radiant green, and in the rear of the sled you can see the Slash specific bumper there. This acts as a tunnel support. It's a fully aluminum design. Got the higher handle so it's easy to grab. It's stronger, looks better, increases the strength of the machine. One more thing I'll note, which I got from BSB Fab, is these BWC ski rubbers. They're wider than stock. And they just last longer. That's a necessity when you're riding hard. The ski rubbers, they wear out quick, the stock versions. Next thing I'll point out, that's pretty obvious, the sled has a wrap on it, if you couldn't tell. This is a Deviant ink wrap. It's actually the first ambassadorship I was approved for. You get a discount on the wrap then. I also worked with my local dealer here, Cascade Motorsports, and they agreed to help me get this made, to support me, and then I'm providing some advertisement for them. So this is the Mason Rutledge signature wrap. He's a rimshot hill climb racer. I think it turned out pretty awesome. It's got a real retro race vibe to it, and looks pretty killer. It's got some carbon fiber details on it, the checkers, matching radiant green. Really happy with the way it came out. Here's the difference for those ski rubbers. You got your stock Polaris rubber here, and this is from BWC. You can see it's more rigid, has much more surface area for your spindle to sit on, and they just last way longer. Next up, I wanted to take some weight off of the sled, and easiest way to do that is with a different exhaust muffler, the exhaust can. I went with the GGB Quiet Can. It sheds a little over 6 pounds of weight as compared to stock, and it keeps the noise at an appropriate level. I don't really enjoy the sound of a blaring mountain can. I think it's kind of annoying. This has that rich tone, makes it sound, makes it different from stock, but keeps the peace up on the mountain. So saves room, drops weight. This is also a brand that I was able to get an ambassadorship offer with, and so I'll dive into those details more as well. As you can see here, I did a headlight delete. This is from Carbon Pursuit. It drops a little over 3 pounds from your machine, which may not seem like much, but when you're talking pounds, it all adds up, and it was a pretty easy way to drop some weight, especially that up high weight. And you can see I paired that with a Oxbow Voyager light, plugs right into my accessory plug under the hood. Plug and play, very easy, also looks killer. Alright, that pretty much covers upgrades. One more thing I did do was the ZRP Racing Quick Shift Kit. That's $190, and what that is a different lightweight spring cup and roller bearing assembly for the secondary clutch. It's supposed to improve back shifting and overall performance of the clutches. And so that was just a small thing to improve durability and longevity of those parts. And so lastly, I'm going to cover a few items that I actually made myself at work. Do some CNC machining and programming. First thing you can see here is the Polaris tow hook. So I actually went ahead and made my own version of that. Kind of for fun, and also these are known to fail and break. So made my own out of aluminum there. It's fully machined, so that's not going to break. Lastly, I've made some rail stiffeners. You can buy upgraded rails, Ice Age rails or backwoods rail stiffeners. Well, the idea is saving money, making this build on a budget, and I was able to make a few of my own parts. And so you can see there I made some rail braces, so I don't think these are going to bend. I'll probably bend something else, but I think the rails will stay straight. So pretty excited with the way those came out. Yeah, so I wanted to jump into brand ambassadorship, kind of what that is, what it's about, what you might get from it, for those curious if that's something that you're after. So I'll start by saying I've been snowmobiling my whole life, but I never really took to posting on social media about it up until last season. That was fall of 2023. I decided I was going to start sharing more content and just posting more on social media because I wanted to be more involved with the industry and help fund this expensive hobby that we call snowmobiling. So I started sharing photos and just sharing things that I thought were cool, creating some unique content. I got a camera, a new GoPro, so I could kind of capture some of those cool moments and put together some things that I thought people would enjoy. The idea there is kind of making that social media account kind of a portfolio or resume of what you do and what you create, and that's what companies want to see, is how you are different and what sort of cool things you're putting out there, and how you're being involved with your community. Chronologically, I first applied for a Deviant Inc. ambassadorship. I was able to get that, and so what that gave me was a discount on their product, and if I promote them, then they will promote me as well. So ambassadorship is kind of a partnership. It's a win-win relationship. Both parties need to benefit. Otherwise, what's the point? So I was able to get that, and from there, I wanted to upgrade my suspension and didn't know exactly what I was going to do. I'd already talked about Suspension Proz, and their price point was very good, and it already utilized the shocks I've already purchased, so it's hard to go spend $3,000+ on aftermarket suspension. I saw they had an ambassadorship opportunity, and so I applied for that. Wasn't exactly expecting to be accepted into that, but I got an offer there with a very generous discount on their service, so I was super stoked on that. So that saved me some coin, and they're promoting me and sharing the content I make, so that's super awesome. The next up was BSB Fab. I had mentioned them. I was just a customer first because I simply needed to upgrade my bumpers. After I purchased my products, you might have seen it was a radiant green Polaris specific color bumper, and they didn't have any product pictures for that. And since I had bought my camera, I thought, well, I'll get him some nice product photos because he doesn't have any. So I did that, and that's kind of how I started my relationship there, was providing something of value for him. Later, towards the end of summer, when his ambassadorship program opened up, I applied for that and was accepted pretty quickly because he already knew that I provided value and was active on my accounts and already, supporting his brand. And then GGB Exhaust, they've got a lot of ambassadors. So I applied for them because I was going to buy their product regardless, but was accepted with that, and so I'm going to share content for their product, and they'll promote me as well, and that gave me a discount on something I was already going to buy. Lastly, you'll see Cascade Motorsports. This is my local Polaris dealer. I've been a long-time customer of theirs. This last spring of 2024, I asked them if they had any interest in being on the wrap that I was going to get, and they offered to pay for half of that, and so here we are. I got a discount on the wrap, and then had another supporter pay for half of that. So that's kind of how you can help support your passion, is working with other companies, promoting them, and they'll promote you, get you discounts. So yeah, the idea there is having a professional online presence, as well as being active in your local community, your snowmobile clubs, and just being just an advocate of the sport we call snowmobiling. If you have any more questions, reach out via Instagram or YouTube, and I'll help maybe guide you on how I got to getting some deals like this. So yeah, I appreciate you watching, and stick around because we've got a lot more coming out this winter. Buddy Brady and I are going to be doing a lot of filming, so stick around.